There we go. I always forget 'cause I'm listening to something different. And yeah, like I told y'all, I don't want them to make take away the sound of my video. So, lo siento, I'll be forgetting. Glad to have everybody here today. Glad to be back. We will be continuing our discussion on elemental magic and take away the mystery behind that, and a couple other things that I want to talk about before we get to the elemental magic is about a couple of realizations that I've had that tie into a couple of things on this healing journey. So, and hopefully it will resonate with you. And if not, take some time and think about it because somewhere there's a connection like that that needs to be made. And I'm going to show y'all a couple of my new toys that I got that I'm so excited about. One specifically is a black amethyst, and I never even knew that they existed. So, um, if you would ever like to have a live energy reading on the show, don't hesitate to reach out to me. The link is generally on Facebook, but even if you had the link and I didn't have a plan for you, I probably wouldn't let you join the show. I like to have it a little more planned so you can prepare for the type of questions that might be asked and ask me any questions before we get live. But that's pretty much it. What we're going to talk about. So I'm so excited about a couple of the stones. I actually went to this, they be having so many names, gem, fossil, and stone sale that they had in Cabarrus County, which is right outside of Charlotte. And ironically, one of the things that I was looking for out there was a rose quartz. And it is a good stone for your heart. Your heart energy point. We working on that. Sacral is green, which is funny, and it got a couple of stones. But rose quartz is good for that. So I actually was looking for a rose quartz, and I was smart enough to get it in this shape. So generally, when I'm doing some Reiki sessions with somebody or something like that, I'll get extra Joe energy, and I'll use the stone to track my energy through the stone. So, like, it is plugged in. I see you on TikTok. Check it out. So, Mike, is it straight now? Don't be no hater talking about I'm looking like a principal. You know, you the one that told me I need to stay G, but I'm about to mess this up too. I gotta, yeah, I don't know, maybe it was a play because you know I need to what's up? Excited about is this black amethyst. this is supposed to be from Uruguay, right? And then they also had red, which I use loosely because it looked a little more pink. And then they had an orange one. And one. Hey, Terrence, so glad to have you here again, black man. I appreciate you as always, brother. You know how it go. It's funny. You might, if you stay on, man, try to stay on for that elemental magic at the end. Well, I ain't gonna say it at the end, but I'm gonna say it's the second half because it might be something that you can utilize, or you may be actually doing some of these things, and then you can be a little more intentional. Is what I hope for everybody to do. Because most of the stuff that we want to talk about are things that you are already doing. You just don't realize that's part of your routine. And moving forward, you should be a little more intentional. So, the first thing we want to talk about is, yeah, man. Somebody else said that too. Jesus Christ, what's going on with my mic? Brothers, the mic still going in and out. Please let me know. Hold on, let me see. I know it be delayed on Facebook. Oh Lord. I guess we've been doing good for so long. It was about time that we had some sound issues. I hear it. Yeah, we ain't had that in a long time. You remember we used to have that? Yeah, we ain't had that in a long time. I'm trying to see if it's me. It is me. Sorry, family. I'm just a magnetic like that. Lo siento. Dead serious. I always had a little issue with that. Like, man, listen. One of the reasons I slowed down. If you know me, you know that one of my favorite things used to be watches. I used to collect watches. But one of the reasons I slowed down on buying watches is because the electricity. Let me know if it keeps going on. Listen, I got a duck. I got another mic too. Listen, you know, I got several mics, so I might have to. I'm gonna play with it later in case this happens. So I'll make sure that my other mic works too. But if you know me, I got a thing for watches. I love polos, and I collected a bunch of watches. But one of the reasons I slowed down on buying watches is because the electricity in my body is already high. So all I did was kill the watch batteries quickly, and I can't wear stuff like I can't wear anything that's not fake, whether it be that's fake. So I have to wear real gold, or it has to be 100% sterling silver or something like that because the electricity in my body will tarnish that stuff. So I'm already, and it's funny because when I started working with kids, I learned that that's a thing that some children deal with, and they even have electrostatic mats that they used to have to put those kids because they used to come in the classroom, come into school and break the computers because they had so much electricity in their body, which is ironic. So I deal with that in my own way. So forgive me, I just won't touch the mic this time. Once we get set up, we'll get it going. And Marlena, glad to have you back. You know, you one of my favorites. Cole, Collie, hey, I appreciate you letting me know it's There was a buzz. I'm glad you stopped through for a little bit. But anyway, I want to go to these realizations because they're real life. So, one thing that I always forgot, we like to. Um, okay, so who is that Twitch? On that's YouTube. YouTube, I appreciate you. Not late. You right on time. I ain't hit my bowl, but this is an interesting part. So y'all remember I got the big yellow bowl too that I said is for sacral, the crystal, because this is a bowl. I think it's copper, and I don't know what else is going on with it. But I got that big crystal bowl, and I talked about it because each one of these bowls or each one of your energy points are also key to a sound vibration or a music note. So your stomach, ironically, is key according to energy points and sacrals. Your stomach is key to the sound of G. You know what I mean? So, and I just me not, I mean, I can sing a little bit, but I don't really play. The most I did is the ukulele, but I don't really play instruments or anything of that nature. So, just naturally in my ear, I don't know, I can't just hear the sound of G. So now I got this bowl and I'm clanging that thing just like that, but it's super loud. And you can hear just like the little one as the sound dies off as it goes to the stop. It just ooh dies off and stops. So I clang that bowl and it'll start dying off and stop. But I'd keep hearing that whoo, that G sound in the atmosphere. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Because I know the bowl is stopping. And it took me about 3 or 4 times playing the bowl, waiting for it to stop. And I keep hearing this G key in the air or somewhere around me, somewhere in my immediate vicinity, something sounds like the G key based on that sound bowl that I've been using. And I couldn't hear it all the time. So I didn't have to time it because I wasn't trying to find it, but I paid attention to when I play that bowl and I still heard it. So the last time I banged that bowl, and the sound from the bowl dies out and I keep hearing the G key in the atmosphere. So I start looking around and then I realize that the G key that I keep hearing in the atmosphere is my refrigerator. So the hum of my refrigerator is at the same key of that bowl, which is ironic because I always talk about one of my most difficult places is my stomach, which is my solar plexus and my sacral. So it's tied to my solar plexus, which is so funny. And one of the things that I struggle with, and I'm talking about this, is a weight loss journey and being at a weight that I feel comfortable. So for most people, you can't tell, but like I said, I'm 100, and now I think I'm down. I'm 190 pounds, right? But I was one of those kids that shopped in the Husky section. And that makes me think about because I love snacks. And sometimes when I ain't got nothing to do, I just hear that woo. And the refrigerator calls me. And I eat me a snack. But I never tied into one of the reasons why I might be attracted to that refrigerator is because the sound that it makes, the G key that is connected to my stomach energy point, which is crazy. So it goes a little further. And so, again, I've been studying sound waves because I want to use it in my healing process and things of that nature. And so, one specifically sound wave that I've been paying attention to at this point has been 432. Things recorded at 432 hertz, which is is said to be a healing frequency. So, and the amazing thing about it is, I just did a search for songs recorded at 432 hertz, and you'd be amazed at how many songs that are recorded at that frequency. So, I generally had this little playlist that had a bunch of black artists and old school music and stuff like that that was recorded on 432 hertz. And it had plenty of hip hop. It had a good diverse variety of music. But I'm an eclectic music listener, so I like a little bit of everything. And sometimes pop and those type of music speak to me as well. Classic rock. Only one I really don't really mess with is I ain't the biggest fan of country, and I don't like old school gospel. I don't like that singing in rounds. I don't like that new gospel. I did old gospel. No, I don't like that Negro spiritual type singing. That ain't me. So, in studying that, I've been, trying to make sure I cultivate playlists or listening sounds to this. So now I'm maxed out on my own little playlist that I created, and I want to listen to something else. And I found this playlist on Spotify that's 70 hours of music that is recorded at 432 hertz. So I started listening to this playlist, and one of the first albums that really stuck out to me was Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. And when I listened to that album, I fully understood why it was such a great album. Almost that whole entire album is recorded at 432 hertz. So that whole album is pretty much a healing album. And some of the things, even the name of the songs, Any Color That You Want, and then that Big Gig in the Sky was two major songs for me. But as the list plays on, I'm hearing all types of music, and each one of these songs bring up a memory for me. And a lot of the music, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's the music we used to play when I worked at Lane Bryant. Or that's TJ Maxx music. Or that's Old Navy music. And then I started realizing that, wait a minute, I got this connection to retail therapy. So sometimes when I want a boost in feelings, a boost of good feelings, I'll go buy myself something. And what I realized, like sometimes people even do this, like you see it with window shoppers. They don't even necessarily have the funds to go shopping, but they still want that shopping experience. So then what I wind up realizing is a lot of these stores play music recorded at 432 hertz. So when you go in these stores, whether you're spending money or not, there's a vibrant music, a healing music that comes on that generally lifts your spirits or makes you buy more than you wanted to buy the first time. And one of the reasons I'm saying this is because we can be aware of how the sounds around us can unconsciously manipulate our behaviors and how we move and do things. And it was crazy to me to realize that my connection might not be retail therapy. My connection might be the music that's played in retail spaces because it's recorded at a healing frequency. And normally in my life, I didn't play a lot of healing frequencies that I was aware of. So it was crazy to come to that connection. And I say that to you specifically for window shoppers, because those people are out shopping, not spending no money. What are they getting from the experience? And it definitely could be the healing music. And the last thing I've had to do, I think I've even talked to you all about it. We've talked about it a couple of times. But over the last couple of weeks, I've been dealing with this vibe like, um, cool. I will enjoy your sound book. I see you, Cat. I appreciate you. So I think I've been walking around for the last couple of weeks where I had this feeling. I know at least the friends in my life I mentioned. I'm like, man, I just feel like I want to cry. But life has been good for me, and for overall for myself, things are going pretty well. And I really couldn't understand why I would have to cry. Because again, I'm still on this process like the rest of us. And I'm still working at attaching my tears to other emotions than just sadness. So I know I ain't sad about nothing, but I'm trying to figure out what is going on with this sad feeling that I had. Or no, not the sad feeling, excuse me, but this feeling like I want to cry and I can't pinpoint why I want to cry. And once I get to the root of that feeling of wanting to cry, it winds up taking me to a new level of healing in the grief process. So I did a little work on myself, and a couple of things came out of that Reiki session I did on myself. Well, I ain't even gonna say I did Reiki because I didn't do Reiki. I just meditated a little bit, listened to some music, meditated, and made note of what thoughts came to my mind. And I talked to you all before. Like, I think I'm at a space right now where healing from some of the old child experiences, and that will make you confront your parents in some aspect. So me and my mom are having a little disagreement at this point. You know what I mean? And what I realized is the reason I want to cry is because this disconnect, this disagreement that I'm having with my mother at this point is triggering for me, right? Triggering in an emotional way, in the sense that I can feel some of the emotions I felt as a child when I felt unseen, unheard, or unappreciated. And what I didn't understand in my life because I didn't have that, so I made that connection. And what I realized is I'm triggered by the emotions of being in that emotional place again, of feeling like a child, wanting an apology, wanting to be seen, or whatever would have made me feel better as a child. And like I said, it brought me to a new level of healing. So I think when we're on this healing process, we wind up having two types of healing. And one is I would consider, like, I don't have any data on any of this. And I think I just made them up myself. So I don't know if I can find research on it or anything, but I will do. But I think there's a huge difference between situational healing and emotional healing. So the way I see situational healing is kind of like the healing after you grieve the loss of something tangible, whether it be a relationship, you grieve the loss of that relationship, whether it be a family member or friend, you grieve the loss of that family member or friend, whether it be a job, you take time and grieve the loss of that job, the absence of that job, that person, or that relationship in your life. And the funny thing about that is once you heal from that, a lot of times we think that we've healed. And I'm learning that this healing process is more like one of those wounds that you get. Like my man explained it perfectly in the men's meeting. I see I appreciate you, Jacqueline. Jay, I appreciate you. So my man was like, you get one of those bumps and you squeeze the pus out of it. And once you squeeze it all out, you're like, all right, I'm good. It's good. And then a day later, it comes back and you got to squeeze out a little bit more. So that's what I think situational healing is for us. It's that first time where we address the wound. And once we do all this work to get beyond the loss of that relationship, the loss of that person, or the loss of that job, or something like that, we think we've done all that's necessary until we find ourselves in a situation that makes us address the emotions that were attached to those situations. And so, like, my main situational healing things, like this past relationship. I talked about it. I had an ex before I started this show, and it's been at least a year at this point that I've been single, and I actually took time to grieve the absence of that relationship in my life. You know what I mean? Life goes on. I've moved on. I've done certain things with my life. The person I was a year ago, I'm not that person anymore. Twitch, I appreciate you. So I'm not that person anymore. And I thought I was beyond that. Or even the death of my pops. I've taken time to grieve and heal from the loss of the absence of that person in my life. So it was kind of crazy. It was kind of wild to find myself triggered again over things that I thought that I had already dealt with. And, so that situational healing for me just turned out to be the time I take to grieve the loss, like I said, of that relationship. Now I see the emotional healing a little bit different. And it is after you grieve, like I said, the emotions attached to that event. So perfect example of that was my college experience. So I talked to y'all when I graduated from college, I was homeless, right? And so I graduated from college, moved beyond, I got jobs, I'm living in my own place, but I still really couldn't go to that campus. I'm thinking everything good. I moved beyond. I've gotten over it. I've paid my dues. I came out a stronger person. I've taken time. I've grieved. I grieved the loss of my college experience, period. Hanging with my friends, the doing the research, the professors, the parties, just everything being convenient. Leaving college can be a loss. And I grieved that. But the wild thing about it is I'll never go back to my campus. And one of the reasons I didn't is because when I did go back, I would feel, as much as I loved being there and as much as I loved my school, I would feel the weight or the burden of how I felt when I was trying to graduate and was homeless. You know what I mean? That was a tough place to be. And to this day, I still don't know. If it wasn't for my friends, me and my college roommates talked about it, I think it was inevitable for us all to link up because we made sure we all graduated. But if it wasn't for my friends, to this day, I still don't know how I graduated. I just know I wasn't coming home. I just need to do something different. You know what I mean? And it was just crazy because every time that I would step on campus, I just feel the weight of or the burden that I felt when I was trying to graduate as homeless. And that's when I realized that there's still, or that's when I realized there's still a little emotions attached to that. And so now I recognize that although I've taken time to heal from the situations of those things, the absence of those things, I do need to take a little time to heal from the emotions of those things. So one is like I talked about the conflict that is going on in my family right now. One of the things that I necessarily just my spirit wants, because I don't, I'm not worried about it. You know what I mean? Is my spirit wants an apology or something of that nature, or my spirit wants to be like just to feel seen. You know what I mean? But the person that I am, the adult that I am, I know who people are. I accept people for who they are, and I know I dated a girl probably 10 years ago. I mean, it was longer than 10 years ago. It was, 2011? 11. I'll never forget Liz. And I will never. So again, it was 2011. I moved beyond that relationship. It was crazy because she got married, and she used to always try to visit me so she can cheat on her husband. Um, when they first got married, because she really liked me, she really did. Um, Now it took a long time for us to get where I wasn't gonna cheat with you. So you gotta figure out some other way to move if that's gonna be your thing. So, but I'll never forget in one of our disagreements. Um, well, not even a disagreement. We were having a conversation, and I used to ask people like, what is a way that I can improve as I move on to relationships or something like that. And I asked her, what is an issue? And she boldly told me that my issue is I'm not a family man. And I never understood that. And when she said it, I thought I just brushed it off as she was crazy. But what I didn't realize that it was one of those parasitic thoughts and ideas that had attached to my spirit that I did not know. And when it came to family and stuff like that, something she said, like I said, the situation that I'm currently dealing with, I'm very much aware because internally, I feel like, whoa, the 11, 10-year-old boy, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why does he feel like that? And even when I talk about the situation, I'm clear, but I do know that my spirit, I feel. Oh, did I touch the mic again? I messed up. Maybe it's too I'm trying to switch mics. Oh my God. I didn't even realize it was that bad. Thank you. Nah, stop. Because I said something. No, no. Let me see. Nah, stop. Because I said something. Let me check on it. Make sure my mics is good. Mics is good. All right. Well, we gonna run. I appreciate you telling me that it was a little messed up. But we gonna run. I appreciate. I'll check again in a minute to make sure I don't sound like I told you. We probably just needed a reminder on how far we came. You remember how bad the sound used to be? Always sound like a tin can. Oh my God, that last one. That was the last time it sounded that bad, and I figured out how to get it to work. But back to in this place of healing from the emotions from these events, which is different than situational healing. I realize now where I am. I have to move to that space of acceptance. And as we discussed before, after acceptance comes release. And after release comes freedom. And in that freedom is where your higher self is. So we're all trying to get to our higher self. might be TikTok. Yeah, it might be TikTok that's saying that bad. No. All right, I'm gonna give it a little second to see if it came back. Nope. Hey, that might have helped. I don't even hear the buzzing. Family, I appreciate your patience. That seemed like that helped. Liberty, I know you over there. Ha! I spoke too soon, right? Hey, that might have helped. I don't even hear the buzzing. Family, I appreciate your patience. That seemed like that helped. Liberty, I know you over there. Ha! I spoke too soon, right? Oh nah, it's so delayed. Yo, Facebook is really, 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 really behind whatever I'm saying. Like that thing is oh Lord. Facebook is really, 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 really behind whatever I'm saying. Like that thing is where we at? Family, I'm trying. Listen, I appreciate you, Cat, too. And I appreciate you, Liberty. So it seems like we might got a little consistency right now. So I'm gonna get it cracking. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I think it was just one of those days that cut that off. Send me a message again if you if it start messing up like that again, cause I don't want that background feeding noise to of me playing it to show up. So, but remember again, we working on that healing process. So, well, the acceptance of grieving the emotions from the situations we experience outside of the grief we've already done with grieving the loss of those experiences. So the next thing I want to talk about is elemental magic. And again, I'm taking away the mystery from a lot of these things. So although we're using that word magic, it ain't gonna be magical at all. I'm gonna put it in basic terms, which will make you feel comfortable to be able to use. Let's record. Let's see where we at. Ba, ba, ba. All right. So, all right. So we're gonna do a little bit on elemental magic, and for layman's terms, it is just interacting with the elements of life. It is. Look at my keyboard. I feel like I'm gonna need that. Technology. So we're gonna always do like we did. We start off with definitions, so we make sure that we're all speaking the same language. We're on the same page. Again, we're talking about elemental magic, which simply put is interacting with the elements of life. And we're just going to slim that down. So we're not even going to deal with all the elements, just specific ones. So, magic, the definition that we're going to use is this. As a noun, is the power of apparently influencing the course of events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. As the verb is move, change, or create by or if, as if magic. So, simply put, one of the ways that we hear this magic phrase used a lot is black girl magic, black boy magic. We always thought the way that Michael Jordan moved was magical. Or people thought the way that Michael Jackson danced was magical because it seemed like it was influenced by mysterious or supernatural forces. But we really saw a man doing these things. It was nothing necessarily supernatural. He just had a gift. So, in the elements, we're going to just deal with the noun, forces of nature, and we're only going to deal with fire, water, air, and earth. Things we already interact with in the first place. So, for your knowledge, fire is an element of passion. You can read a lot of this. It's you think about it, a candle flame, it's the warmth of a blanket, the beauty of a campfire. They usually are used in fire burning ceremonies or cord cutting rituals. Now, when I say fire burning ceremonies, you'd be amazed by what those mean because we'll give examples of it. A fire burning ceremony is, it's funny because I asked my friend who lived in the country, and the first high school I went to used to have these all the time. But bonfires are fire burning ceremonies that we do that are very normalized, very normal. Once we take the mysticism away from it. So if you went to high school, a lot of high schools have bonfires. You go to the country, a lot of country areas still have bonfires. You can see a bonfire now. It is an element for passion. It is an element for creativity and inspiration. When it's aggressive, it definitely is a forest fire. And it can burn everything in sight. Once you learn how to manage fire, you can use it to heat up your food or burn it. So fire can be a very useful tool once you learn how to use it for yourself. And it also is a very dangerous tool if you do not respect the power that fire has. So, one of the things we want to do is like when we were trying to figure out what our affirmational words are going to be, we want to make sure that we're building relationships with the things around us. And again, we're taking the mysticism away from a lot of these things that we do. So one of the things you want to do is, and we're going to do this with every element, or you can do it yourself. You write down a list of attributes that you think would describe fire. And then you pick one of those words that resonate most with you. You know what I mean? It can be hot, it can be burned, it can be blaze, it can be red, it can be whatever you think describes fire. I probably pick the blue flame because it's supposed to be the hottest flame, but that's just me. Then on another list, you want to write situations that you relate to fire. Like I just said, a bonfire, or a volcano, or a campfire, or sitting beneath the sun. Sunbathing is also considered dealing with the sun because the sun is really a big ball of fire. Then start to think about the stories that you know that relate to fire, like the Phoenix, which is one of my favorite stories, as it is a bird that is reborn from the ashes. Or in Christian religion, they talk a lot about hell and the fiery pits of hell. There are a ton of stories. And then you think about those things and see how they make you feel. If they make you feel good, that means they resonate with you. And you want to start to create a ritual. And we're going to take the mysticism out that. But a ritual simply put, is a routine around that element. So something simple as suggestion is your building a relationship with fire can be burning candles. If you're a candle person and you like to light candles, that is you building a relationship with fire because you respect how dangerous that fire can be. You don't leave them candles burning. You don't do a lot of different things because you respect the fire. Now that you recognize that you're doing that, be a little more intentional. So when you light these candles to set a mood or to calm your spirit, make sure you're pouring positive energy into yourself, saying affirmational phrases, reminding yourself of how great you are, how beautiful you are, and how much you deserve in life. Doo, doo, doo. So water, which is one of my favorites, and I deal with it all the time. Like I said, I use fire in a lot of my Reiki sessions too. Not Reiki. I use water in almost all my Reiki sessions. I use fire in my spiritual journeys. So water is an element of change. It is gentle tide pools. It is delicate ecosystems. It is babbling brooks. It is your swimming pool, the water that flows out the faucet. When it's aggressive, it's a tsunami. Or in the human form, it's an ugly cry. When it's not aggressive, it is, like you said, a babbling brook or a drink of cool water on a summer's day. So the thing about water is it is deeply transformational because it's one of the few elements that can change from a gas state to a liquid and to a solid state. And you can use water to transform parts of your life. For example, if you've had a long, stressful day and you feel dirty, one of the things you do is jump in the shower because that water changed your life. So, same thing. If you want to see if water relates to you, write down a few things that you think would describe water. And then see which one of those words relate to you. And then think about a list of places or situations that you think would describe water. And pay attention to think about how thinking about those places and those words make you feel. And think about some of the water stories you know. Things like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Or what's I don't know why I just left my mind. But with the whale, the killer whale. Oh my God. Oh well, the whale story. I just got the captain's name. Captain Ahab, or oh my God, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Noah's Ark is a good water story. The floods that came, and or even the story that you know if you into Greek cultures where Poseidon and things, the god of the water. There are a lot of water stories, and pay attention to when you're thinking these thoughts, the emotions they create, because that's how you know it's going to resonate with you. And if the thoughts of these things make you feel good, be more intentional around the routines that you do with water. So, like I said, it could be showering. One of the things I always do, and I can tell when I don't do it at least once a week, is I take me a spiritual bath. I soak in the tub with some Epsom salt and whatever else I need, if I do bubbles or whatever, but I just let my body soak, let all the stress go away, and I wash it down the drain. So I be very intentional. And now when you're being intentional, make sure you're pouring the positivity into yourself. Making sure you're saying affirmational things, reminding yourself how amazing you are, how beautiful you are, and how deserving you are. And next, same thing with air. But air is an element of freedom. And it's funny because I love air too. And air is the gentle breeze and or the mighty hurricane. And one of the ways that I know I love air is I like to be outside. And for a long time, I had locks, and my locks were kind of long. And the only time that I can feel one of the best feelings in my life is when I put my locks in a ponytail, and I could feel that spring breeze across my neck. That would feel so good. So I had a love for air. And it's funny because I pay attention to the winds. And I think it's one of my gifts, I don't know, is sometimes the winds blow differently. And the winds of change do not look like hurricane winds, do not look like sunny day winds. They just look a little differently. And they just randomly come out the blue. But I pay attention to how the winds randomly blow. So I have a relationship with air, and I recognize its power. One of my favorite stories growing up was the Three Little Pigs, and that is all about the power of air. Cause that big bad wolf get the blowing. Time is to make sure we ain't running over. Okay, we good. So same thing. You want to see if you build a list with air. I mean, a relationship with air. Make a list of things that you think describe air, and pick one of the words that resonate. That pay attention to how you feel. Think about the places that you would think air. Like I just said, feeling a breeze across your neck, or in an open field, or flying in a plane, flying kites, things like that. Breathing is a perfect way where you interact with air. Managing and controlling your breath is a good way to build a relationship with air. Fantastic. Then think about some of the air myths you have, or like things like the Pegasus, or the Griffin. All those things are people taking flight, things like that. And if they resonate with you, then you want to be more intentional about how you interact with the air around you. And again, pay attention to how it's making you feel while you think about these things, because if it's making you feel good, that means that is something you want to be a little more intentional with, and slow down and be a little more present in your interactions with the element. Like I said, I love spring breezes. Ain't nothing better. And the last one we're going to deal with is earth. And it is an element of steady defense. That's why your root, a lot of times, is the closest to it. So, earth is the fertile soil in our gardens, it is the mountains. In its aggressive state, it can be something as simple as the earth has shook and cracked the foundation, or as we dealing with whether you believe it or not, some people would say earth in its aggressive state is global warming or earthquakes. People who have a relationship with earth, they generally like crystals, stones. So I got a relationship with earth. And my plants are an example of a relationship with earth, but they're usually crystals, mud, sand, and ash, which is funny because, of course, with that fire, you deal with ashes. Like I said, in the country, you deal with a lot of mud. I love the beach. If you like the beach or the mountains, you might be a person who has a relationship with earth. Like I said, my plants represent that because they gives me the time to play in the dirt and grow something from the earth, interact with the earth, and it's excellent for balancing out or getting the negative ions out your feet. If you walk barefoot on the earth is fantastic for getting negative ions out your body by just walking bare feet. Again, want to build a relationship with the earth and be more respectful of it. You want to write down a list of words that you think describe earth, and then you want to write another list of events or things. Oh shoot, hold on. Oh, okay. That would describe Earth. Um, like walking on the ground or being in the forest, camping is a good thing. I enjoyed camping, so it was a good example of interacting with the Earth. Um, and then you think about stories that I relate with the Earth. So I think we're still doing good. I just checked. Um, and then again, you pay attention to how it's making you feel, and if it's bringing up good feelings, you might want to be a little more intentional as you interact with it. So, like I said, one of the ways that I'm very intentional is I'm a plant daddy. I take care of my plants. I love them. They love me. And they create an energy of growth and love in my house. As soon as you walk in, you feel an energy of growth and love. Now, not everybody's ready to receive that type of energy, so it can be overwhelming. But as soon as you come in here, and I've intentionally cultivated that relationship, and even though I'm allergic to trees and things like that, I don't care. I just pop my pills. I play football. I interact with the grass, things like that. So if something resonates with you, you want to start thinking of ways that you can interact with the earth. Sometimes it might be carving. That could be your thing. Or building something out of wood. Or going on a hike. Or like I said, camping. Or anything. And again, most of these conversations are to try to take away a lot of the mysticism that we have around the word rituals and this healing process. You know what I mean? Because a lot of it are things that we already do and do for ourselves. You know, so hold on, let me get my life together. Media file, video. Do, do, do. All right, family. So we're gonna switch this up. Look, extra chocolate, don't I? So I touched the mic, so it might be over. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being able to endure the mic sounds because I'm sure it was acting up tremendously tonight, but we haven't had to deal with it in a while, so I appreciate your patience. Um, Next week with Thursday, we'll continue reading Before I Let Go. So I hope you can join us for Thursday night book club. If not, I'll see you next Tuesday back here for live energy readings and more. And start preparing you all. I will start traveling again towards the end of July. And, excuse me, I heard it. Towards the end of July. And so shows are going to be a lot of them on the road, or I might have to cancel a couple of them. Or things. We may not have Thursday show because it's the 4th of July. And I want everybody to actually